Okay, here's the thing. I want to talk about Hallmark, but the 1 Million Moms petition that had the ad pulled and then they put it back on and then the whole thing, that's done. And also, Christmas season is over. So the whole like the holiday programming lineup and their like fantasy league and everything, done. So who wants to talk about Hallmark? No one, except me. So I'm going to talk about Hallmark. This is essentially a Hallmark cold take that no one asked for, and I'm going to do it now. Here's the thing. I enjoy Hallmark. Like, not like the Christmas movies as much. Like, I'll like watch a couple, but like, it's like gets to the point where it's like the big ones are okay, but then the smaller ones where it's like so formulaic and you're like, what am I watching? Like, those get old. But, okay, backtrack one step. What happened to me is I am an expat who grew up in the States and then moved to the UK. And what happens when you change zip codes like that is Netflix back in the States sees your IP address and knows that you are in the US and gives you US shows and movies that they have rights for to stream in the US. Then you come to the UK and your Netflix changes because they figure out where you are and they're like, just kidding, we can't give you the same stuff there that we could give you in the US. So they give you different stuff here. And the stuff here, personally, not as much to my taste. So I'm a person who watches a lot of Netflix and now has beef with Netflix because I don't like the selection as much on Netflix over here. Whole different thing. But one of the things that has carried over is this one show that I used to watch in the States. I watched like 4 seasons of it, you know, not like religiously, but like it'd come out on Netflix and I'd be like, I don't have anything else to watch. I will watch the next season. This show called Good Witch that was put out by the Hallmark Channel. I think there are 6 seasons total, but there's like season 5 is what is the latest that's available here in Netflix UK. Came here, saw that season 5 was available, was like, okay, I'll watch it. But it feels weirder now in the wake of the 1 Million Moms thing and the more people talking about Hallmark and Hallmark's lack of diversity. Like, season 5 is probably my sticking point of like, now it gets icky of like, you know, lack of people of color in the show, lack of you know, same-sex couples and you know, people on different scales of the gender spectrum and blah, blah, blah. Like, everything else has that, or maybe not everything, but a lot of new media is starting to include a lot of those things. And Hallmark has always felt warm and fuzzy, but the warm and fuzzy cannot come without some of this new representation because, you know, to me, you know, something that is warm and cozy and a comforting show includes making me feel good about, you know, social issues and things like that. Like, I get that that might be controversial for a lot of people, especially in the middle America demographic, but it's starting to become a thing that now I'm like low-key starting to wrestle with of like, does the magic of small town Hallmark good wholesome family show still hold up in the wake of, you know, other shows being able to keep up with representation and social progress, and Hallmark maybe not? It's hard. I mean, I don't want to like stop watching the show. It's not like I'm gonna like boycott the show, and it's not like one person boycotting the show is really gonna make that much of a difference. But I think the issue is more like, when I watch it, does it still make me feel like this is cozy, this is home, I enjoy this is a wholesome content, or does it start to feel a little like undertones of like icky, sinister? I mean, maybe not so far as that, but just unsettling, because you know the reasons why you're not seeing this representation. You know that, you know, someone high up has decided that that's threatening, that that's not going to, you know, communicate with a lot of the viewers, and there is always that argument for, well, if you make that change, people will start to see it and start to accept that change all around them, not only in their media, but also in their lives. So, you know, when you have a platform and you could slowly start to introduce some level of social change, like, is it your moral imperative to, you know, Hallmark at the end of the day is a business, a greeting card novelty business that also has, you know, a media arm that makes movies and television shows and stuff like that. And, you know, if their mission statement is, you know, not to stir the pot, but just to be a business and provide a certain niche of content, that's their prerogative, right? But, you know, to me as a viewer, can I separate my understanding of, yeah, okay, that's how they want to operate as a business, with I am a consumer and is this what I want to consume? It gets a little harder. I mean, truly, I have no answers about this. I simply just wanted to, you know, put it out there that there is something worth thinking about this. I mean, if I were to end this video though with like a note of a little bit something that I still appreciate about what Hallmark does is, at the very least, they always show like stories that have an emphasis on women, which I think is really cool. I mean, I get it that their main consumer demographic is women. I'm sure they're like the, you know, on the demographic scale, it's like, oh, well, we are loved by women ages like 24 through 45 who live in Oklahoma. Like, I get it, like that's their demographic. But the way that they have recently started showing women, I mean, I don't even know how recent it is, but I just feel like, you know, in, for example, the show Good Witch, like a lot of the female characters have a range of things that they can offer. They have their careers, they have, you know, their love lives, they have, you know, their friendships and their ambitions and, you know, just hobbies and all of these things that make up multifaceted characters, and they're celebrated for any of their accomplishments that they do within any of those fields, which is not what I would initially think, you know, Hallmark bland media programming would do. I would think that it'd skew a little bit towards the always in the interest of romance, which maybe some of their Christmas movies do, but I feel like, you know, especially on like a television show where you had 5 seasons to build up these characters, they really give them time to live and breathe and develop and, you know, form friendships and relationships within each other that really show like very healthy, like women supporting women on screen, which I think is dope and I am here for. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, yeah, that's one of the big reasons why I enjoy the show in the first place. Why, you know, at season 1 I started watching it and I was like, this just feels wholesome and nice and supportive, and sometimes media is simply just an escape to go see, you know, to go see what is not always true in the real world, to see things that are just nice. And to an extent, I think Hallmark has done that. I think, especially when you consider, you know, the demographic that it reaches, I think it does some good in that aspect. I think the way that they are targeted towards maybe more middle America, which might hold more conservative viewpoints, like socially, like not politically, but socially conservative viewpoints, you know, showing this representation of women being strong and accepted and supporting each other in all of these aspects, like I think, you know, that might be pushing, you know, a level of social change that women have so much more to offer by supporting each other and by pursuing all their ambitions outside of relationships, etc., romantic relationships. But is that enough? Is that enough for me as a viewer to feel like I like it and this makes me feel warm and cozy and supported and wholesome? Or do I feel like the content is starting to feel less wholesome, not because of what it does, but because of what it doesn't do? Good questions. Good questions. Cool. So this has been a Hallmark cold take that no one asked for.